What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video on my channel. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day, and I hope that you will learn a few tricks from this video that you didn't know previously. But yeah, in today's video I will show you a few bouncer tricks that will help you get high ground and will help you get out of very sticky situations, as well as rotate into next zone if you're in a stacked competitive lobby. Now, some of these tricks did come from another YouTuber that I learned. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce his name, so I'll put it on the screen right now. Also, his channel will be in the description below, so go check him out if you want to. But yeah, this video isn't going to be too long like some of my other videos. It's going to be quite short, as there are only a few of these bouncer tricks that I wanted to show you. I will be showing you the more effective ones. I'm not going to be wasting time showing you the least effective that use way too much time and just are complete waste. So yeah, let's get right into the video. So yeah, moving on, I am in my creative island. Like I said, it doesn't really matter. You could do this in game or any game mode that has the shockwave or bouncers, I should say. But yeah, for our first trick, let's just pretend you're in a box and zone pulls that way, right? Zone pulls that way. There's a bunch of builds around you and you need to get there safely. So what you want to do for the first trick is to build out another box like this, right? You want to have two boxes. It could be more, just as long as it's two boxes that you could stand on one and set up a bouncer just like this. So you want to place the stair and then place the bounce pad on top of it. What you want to do after is hold your shockwave in your hand, and you want to place it at the exact same time, or not exact same time, you want it to explode at the exact same time you stand on the bouncer. Now, this might take a few tries to get it, so I definitely recommend practicing in creative first, just trying it out before doing it in game, just so you don't waste that shockwave grenade and the bouncer. So yeah, it should look something like this. So as you see, that took me roughly 105 meters, which is very, very insane. Like, there is no way in hell you're going to rotate without using this trick and not wasting as much resources. I think it's definitely much more effective to waste that one bouncer and shockwave than waste at least 100 mats. It's more likely going to be more than 100 mats rotating. As you know, launch pads have been vaulted, so you can't use that anymore, and you can't rely on others to do that as well. Now, you might be thinking, okay, well, what's the point of wasting a bouncer if I could just use one shockwave? So let's see how far that will take me. This is about the best you could launch, and that is 61 meters. Now, if it's a smaller zone, this will definitely help you out, but if it's a bigger zone, that is definitely much more effective. It takes you about twice as much in distance than just using one of the shockwaves. Now, don't even ask me what if I just use a bouncer or bounce pad, because that won't even get you a fourth of the way that it would with the shockwave and the bouncer combined. So I will show this one more time. Now keep in mind, you do not have to be in a complete box. The complete box is just for safety, because people could spray you. You could even do it in the open like this. So what you want to do is just jump and place it at the exact same time. And as you see, it launches me very, very far. Like I said, approximately 100 meters you will get most of the time, unless there's like a mountain blocking you or something like that. One more thing you can do to go farther is get a bit more high ground. Just crank some 90s a bit, place a bounce pad, and then just time it perfectly and impulse yourself. As you see, we will definitely go a lot farther. I didn't because I have this platform here, but you should go a much, much farther and high. Speaking of high ground, that's what I'm going to be showing you next, and it is a tip as well with the bouncer and the shockwave. I'm telling you guys, this season shockwave bouncer meta is going to be very important for competitive and especially rotations. As you know, like I said previously, the launch pads have been vaulted, so they're no longer in the game. So to set this up, you want to place a bounce pad on the floor. Any floor will be fine. Make sure it's not a stair. It's got to be a floor. It's got to be flat, because you are trying to get height instead of distance. So what you want to do is jump on the bouncer and throw the shockwave approximately at the same time. You want to throw the shockwave a bit earlier, about by a half a second, just so it has that time to explode and you would have that time to hit the bouncer. Because when you hit the bouncer, you get low gravity automatically, and then the shockwave launches you into the sky, as well as giving you even more low gravity. So it should look something like this. as you see, I went about 60 meters into the air. That is more than enough to get high ground. If someone's sitting even higher than that, then you honestly just should shoot them down and they will die of fall damage. Let's try that again. Oh, as you see there, it didn't work. I didn't time it perfectly, so you gotta time it perfectly. Like I said, try practicing in creative before doing this in an actual game, because you might ruin your game by messing up. So yeah, you go around 60 meters. It is a very useful trick. Be aware though to not have builds above you, because for example, if someone has builds here, I think you would be able to break through like 1 or 2 of them, but if it's just stacked, then I don't think you would be able to break through a lot of them. Yeah, as you saw, we've managed to go through 1. Let's try to layer it and see if we could go through this. Oh, messed up there. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just for test reasons. So there we go. We placed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 builds. Let's see if we could go through that. Oops, I messed up again. Didn't time it perfectly. Let's try again. And yeah, we didn't go quite through all of them. It just broke because it was connected to this. I think I got stuck on like the 6th one. So you do go through most of the builds. Like I said, just keep that in mind. Try to do it in more open areas. And if you get good at it, you don't even have to build around yourself. You just quickly set up the bouncer and just jump on it and launch yourself in the air. And then get high ground spray. Or even if you have another shockwave, you could launch yourself in the air and then launch them out as well. If you have an extra one, you just throw it. Similar to the kitty launcher that people use, where they shot themselves and then shot out the next player. Alright, so moving on to our final tip of this video, and it is going to be on how to save yourself from fall damage with a bouncer. Now, it is a bit more difficult to get it perfect with an impulse, or a shockwave I should say. It's still possible though. You gotta throw it at a very perfect time and time it very perfectly so it explodes as soon as you reach the ground. Now, it is much easier with a bouncer, and it is honestly easier than when the launch pads were in the game. But basically, if you didn't know, if you're build fighting or just rotating and you're on high ground and someone knocks you out and you don't have the time to build and you find yourself falling, pull out your bouncer and just hope that there is flat ground that you could place your bouncer on, because sometimes when it's like in like very bumpy areas, you won't be able to place your bouncer, and I will quickly show that on the video right now. So as you saw, watch out for that. Like, try to go on the most flat ground as you can. So basically what you want to do is, if you're falling, you want to pull out your bouncer and just spam place, okay? And it will place on the first block it sees. So for me, that was the ground. But if there is builds, for example, just on the sides, or someone's building out, or you remember that's your old builds, you could just, like, you're falling and quickly pull your bouncers and just spam place down. It's okay if you place a bit too extra, as long as you don't die of fall damage. Now, be aware that you cannot place bouncers on enemies' builds, so if an enemy builds and you think that you could place it, you won't be able to place it and you still will die of fall damage. Now, I've never really tried placing a stair while falling and then a bouncer on it. It is definitely going to be a lot harder. Let's try. Yeah, as you saw, I think I hit the stair first and then I placed the bouncer. It is possible though, if you're falling and you definitely know that you won't be able to place a bouncer just like that, you could, I guess, try placing a stair. Let's try to do it on the side of the build. Let's try something like this. Yeah, as you saw, I first fell and placed the bouncer. Now, one thing you could do is bind the stair and the bouncer to the same button, preferably the scroll wheel, but I know most of you are using scroll wheel for resets and other things. But yeah, there are ways to go around it. So experiment yourself, guys. That is pretty much it for this video. I know this video was quite short and didn't have too much of new things, but like I said, I just wanted to pick out the best ones. I didn't want to bore you and give you just stuff that are completely useless and that there are way better ways of doing it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Please leave a like and subscribe. And yeah, stay safe, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.